It's one of the many problems people consistently have, and especially we as Christians, is the ability to build godly friendships. And especially as females, we seem to have this problem, run into these issues where you try to build friends and it feels to you like friends don't continue to stay through the cycles of life. All right. And then you move from one place to the other. And if you're like me, I'm one of those people who have a friend at every point in my life. Well, first of all, I'm the only girl in my family, so I don't have too many females around me, at least growing up from my nuclear family. So it was incumbent on me to build friends one step at a time. Now, what does that look like actually when you look at the broad spectrum things? How do you look at friendships in terms of spiritual work? How do they corroborate who you are? How do you have friends that align with your purpose? How do you have friends who continue to build with you? Have you seen those women who have friends that are consistent through the different spheres of life? That is something I want to talk about in this session. And if you are in that mind frame and you're feeling like, oh, you've had friends who have broken your heart, friends who have not worked in purpose with you, you've had friends who continuously, just shadow and meander around, this video is for you. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to I think she's now my oldest friend, I guess, because we have been friends for 17 years. I think, yeah, I'm counting. And we met in 2007 by fate, by alignment, and God has nurtured these friendships through years, through changes, through seasons. And so as we have this conversation, I just want you to see what that can look like, what changes you can expect, and then you can mirror your own kind of friendships and see the friends you have, do they work with purpose, the friends you have, do they align in your goals? And that is all we want to unpack in this conversation coming up right now. So I'm going to let my friend introduce herself as we get this show started.
Hi. Right. So, yeah, we're here to talk about friends. I mean, who better to have this kind of conversation with than, somebody you've been friends with for, seriously, that's like half of my life, without dating myself. But really, it's been a while.
All right. So let's start with when we first met. Can you remember the exact first day we met?
To be very honest, I can't remember the exact day. I do remember that it was before I got my admission letter, because I know that took there was a story behind that one, and all that. But I just know that we were still freshers. Matter of fact, I had not gotten fully signed in as a first year student at the time. But I think it was something like, oh, okay, this is a familiar face. And of course, you being you, like, hey, I think I know you, and I'm like, yes, I think this is, yeah, I mean, of the two of us, you've always been the outgoing person. But yeah, like I was saying, I just know that it was first year. It was still within the first weeks of getting into school, and somebody just walked up to me and is like, hey, and it's amazing, how far we have come, given how we started.
I think I agree. I remember it vividly because I think we were somewhere. Well, for backstory, both of us went to the University of Nigeria, right? So we both went to medical school together. So I know we met. I think we met on the first week when school resumed, for sure. Like we came to do that whole signing thing.
Yes.
And then I think I saw you and I'm like, oh, this girl is a Deeper Life girl. Like, okay, maybe we can.
Yeah.
We
could easily tell her.
Yes, like I was like, let me go say hi, let me go talk to her, let me go see, if she's, at least we can have somebody, I can have someone to talk to, because
Open to-
everybody was scrambling. You know how that place is kind of close to Jimba, it's like at the back of somewhere near the library. And
Crazy.
so, yeah, crazy moments in
Yeah.
2007. And we were just standing there trying to get clearance, trying to stand in those very long, ridiculous queues. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I think we hit it off from there, right? There were I'm just going to highlight the fact that we walked through a whole lot in that time period, because I got to meet every single person that is family to you there in Osaka, right? In that first 1 week. And then you got to meet everyone that was family to me in that first 1 week.
Everybody. Honestly, like, oh my God, like you're bringing back memories that, my goodness, yeah. Because of course I hadn't gotten accommodation, so I was going to be staying with my cousins in law, and I stayed with them for a bit, and then of course you went with me to his office, and then of course I went with you to I think it was your aunt, right? Or your cousin? Yeah, it was your aunt. Yeah, we went to her house, like just all the things. Man, honestly, I think, and not to jump the gun or anything, but I feel like God arranged the meet, and because there was just so much to navigate in that time frame that I'll speak for myself. I know that I needed somebody. Maybe I didn't know it at the time, but God knew that I needed somebody, to walk this thing with, and it was just perfect. I'm trying to make, like, it was just perfect. Like, you were there trying to navigate the same thing, and it made it, I believe it made it easier, because I'm like, okay, I don't know where to go with this one. You get information from your auntie, I'm getting information from my my uncle, like I call him, and then we're just making the thing work. So I think God just planted us in each other's lives at just the right time, at that point in our lives.
That 1 year, right, in Osaka was actually an interesting time for us, because I feel like that was the first time I had to be present with a friend that was physically seen on a daily basis, right? And we went to classes together, we went to things together. So do you think, flat out, that friends easily build by the fact that they have the same purpose running together?
To a very large extent, I'll say yes. Because say for example that first year of our friendship, right? If we weren't going through the same things at the same time, our hours are different. You have some other priorities different from mine, and all the things. Time to meet will be difficult. And this is not now. It wouldn't. The progression of the friendship wouldn't now be because, oh, this person isn't present, or this person is a bad friend, or whatever. It was just because of the time of life, the priorities, and just all the different things that the individual people have to, navigate on their own. So it wouldn't give that much time. Not to say that, it has to be exactly the same thing for the friendship to build, because I feel like there are friendships for different reasons, for different at different seasons of our lives and all that, right? But some friendships build more, especially in the beginning stages, when you guys have something similar, driving you and that you're pursuing. I feel that way.
Okay. Now, there's something that always came to my mind through these years, right? Have you ever wondered why, or if why we never had more people join in the friendship group? Like, we didn't have any extra person that became friends with us in commonality. I'm sure we did, of course,
did try.
over time, but we did try. Okay, I think
We tried. We can think of a few people. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you think it would have been
Yeah.
easier,
I think
or do you think it was harder for us to add more friends into the kind of friendship we had over these years?
okay. If I let I'm of course I'm going to use our own situation as a, you know, open like a playground to answer this question. There were so many things that were common for us, and that in itself already gave us a, how do you, I want to use, how do I describe it without making it seem, so we the way we were brought up, the experiences before coming, and just all the things already set us apart. So it's not even about wanting to bring somebody in or allow somebody in or make more friends or make the friend group bigger or anything like that. It was just that we understood each other. We had similar,
Right.
not trauma, but we had similar experiences that only
Right.
the both of us could really fully understand. Now, does that mean somebody else wouldn't have, been able to, like, but honestly, it's like trying to explain to somebody who grew up as an only child what the dynamics of being from a large family looks like. They're going to
Right.
try to understand it, but it's going to be like some things are better understood from experience, and I think that is why ours seemed like it was, it was just the both of us. That's one. But secondly, I think also it was our personalities. I know that I don't thrive well with like really large groups, and I think you understood it because you had you're the outgoing one, so you had other, I would say friends, yeah, but like ours was just different. So that's what I feel like made us seem like it was just the two of us, or you know there were other people, but of course it was more like for a season. Oh,
Right.
we had to do this project together, and they were doing it together, or we have to, or like hostel situation, yeah, we're sharing the
Mm-hmm.
same room or stuff like that, and then there's that commonality, but once that ends is over. You understand that kind of stuff?
Right.
Because so I
Mm-hmm.
think there was more that we had in common than
Mm-hmm.
that could withstand the different phases and changes that occurred, over
Right.
time. And I think that's why it's not, because we still have friends that we talk to, now and again and all the things, but I think it was more of, you know, um, who we were at the core of us, and understanding each other. But most importantly, I think um, it was a proposed arrangement. I mean, I know somebody listening to this will feel like, gosh, she's just being, but honestly, I don't have any other way to explain it, right? Other than that,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, that's what I think.
Um, Now there's a lot of commonalities that we both had, right? As in, it was very clear.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring out some of them, so maybe you can think back and see other things we had in common, right? So first
yeah,
of all, because
yeah.
we were both in the same medical school, so medical school was number one.
Mm-hmm.
We're the same year, the same
Yeah,
everything, so it's kind of fostered, right? And I think the fact that we
yeah.
both came from the same church was a big thing,
Yes,
right? Also attended the same
very
church on
big, actually.
campus was a big deal, right? Then we also both lived in the same city where our parents lived. So we always went home together.
Yes,
I
yes,
came to
yes.
come back to school together. So there was just too
Right.
many,
And we could plan to, yes, and we could plan to come back. Like there was just right,
yeah,
right, right, right,
there
right.
were just too many things in
Yeah.
alignment that just made sense. And let me ask you, what are
Yes.
the things that make for great friends, especially godly and Christian friends?
Okay. All right, all right. So, here's something I feel like it'd be important to highlight at this point. We did go to the same church and everything, But at the time we were in school, we could have decided to do different things, right? To go different ways, or whether or not we wanted to continue, in the what's it called now? With the campus church is what I mean. But I think that whether or not we were serious back home, at the time we were in school, there on campus, we were about the same thing. I can't remember exactly when we started praying together, but I know that we had a day every week that we would go to pray every week. If I wanted to go for Bible study, we would go together.
Right.
Like it didn't. I know that there were sometimes we would come back from school, from clinicals, and we're heading back directly to church, to serve for service. We're still putting on our uniforms and stuff like that. You were not saying, I beg, we're tired, let's just go. I wasn't saying,
Right.
It wasn't. We were singular in our pursuit for God. So I feel like that most definitely was a foundation for that. So you're praying together. You're able to tell this other person your deepest, darkest, whatever it is that is like your concern, because of course you're going to bring it out in prayer, right? And this is your prayer person. So the person knows you in and out, right? At this point in time, and I'm weak or I'm tired or whatever, this person knows to hold you up in prayer. And so that's already, even if you didn't want to be friends, if like say the person offended you or something like that, you're going to pray, and you know full well that you can't be bearing a grudge and going to pray. You find a way to like sort that issue out or something, right? And then because these are the things that make friendships not last long. Somebody does this thing for whatever, either this person is not going to accept that they did wrong and apologize for it, and for that reason this other person is not comfortable confronting the issue, because whatever the relationship is, if you cannot approach the other person to say, oh, this thing you did I didn't like, or this other one, like they have to walk around eggshells, that relationship is not going to last. Friendship, marriage, whatever, it's not going to last. So I feel like that was it. Also, understanding this person. So I don't know if you remember, but I had come to understand that this was you. I had to wait for you to go to church. I would always be ready. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that we talked about it the night before. I got to the point where I would come to your room, like I'd be like, babe, have you brought out your clothes for Sunday? And you'd be like, yes. Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Reason, I would always be ready before you. I think I came to the point, and see, you can't even be offended. Just chill. As long as the boss is not going to leave us, it's fine. If the boss does leave us, we'll find a way to get to church. But yeah, it was something like that. And I think because I don't know where we decided on that, but we had decided we were going to be like, oh, we have to go to church together, right? But it was just something that we did. So because I already settled in my mind that I'm going to go with you, I had to just settle in my mind that, see, just chill. Whenever she's ready, you guys are going to get. So what I'm trying to bring out from that example is, you have to know your friend, know the things that would that will tick you off. If it's something that the person can, arrange or something like that, then, and if you feel like it's something that, well, you cannot handle or whatever, then you find a way to, I don't know, bypass that thing so it's not an issue. Because one thing you don't want in order to keep a friendship going is to constantly have something that you're not like you have to be 100% in agreement or anything like that. But if this is this person, and I like or I like the relationship, I love the relationship. Yeah. If this is this one thing, then I have to find a way to like go around this so that it doesn't bug on our friendship. So I think that's one thing. That's another thing too, amongst being singular in purpose. And because we're talking godly friendship now, it has to be
Yeah.
something that you're both possible. Because I can't be talking about, oh, maybe we need to fast this something, and you're dragging me down, and I'm really serious about seeking the Lord, and the friendship is not just going to last. It should just be a matter of,
Yeah.
oh, we're in different seasons of life and we're just going to drift apart. So I think that was what it. You remember when we had to be stopped from the work from the team because we went for what's that one again? The one we NCCFDS now. First, I think it was second
Yeah.
year when we crossed
We
over.
went
It
to,
was both of us.
yes.
It's always both
Yes.
of us, Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that similarity in hearts or pursuing the Lord and doing all the things is crucial when it comes to like godly friendship if it's going to last. Otherwise,
Yeah.
not because anybody is bad or anything, it's just going to drift apart. So yeah, those are some of the things I feel like, apart from all of the commonality from where we're coming and all that stuff.
Hmm. Well, that's true. I mean, I don't. If not that you brought up this, you had to wait for me every single time, right? And that now I think about it, I was like, that was so true. You actually were waiting for me for most church services. Like you were always ready earlier than I was every single time, And I'm like, oh, okay, well, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it because I'm not sure in the moment. I think in the moment I felt I was early enough, like.
Of course you were early, but I was the one waiting.
Yeah, I thought I was early enough, but you were always the one. That's true. That's so true. And I appreciate the fact that this is for someone who is like maybe you're navigating something with your friend, and then you know that okay, this is who this person is. All right, because I remember now that you brought it up. I remember one time that I know we're in second year, and then you told me that I should make egg. I think fried egg or something. And so I made the egg, right? I think I made scrambled eggs. Meanwhile, you wanted, I don't know, was it omelette, the one that is flat like this on the pan?
Omelette or
right?
something, yeah.
For me, the only eggs I knew how to make was scrambled egg. And at the moment, I didn't even know that it had
scrambled egg.
I just made the eggs. And you were looking at me like...
No, that's a very... I can't even remember it. I mean, seriously. Oh my goodness, like...
You know why I can't forget this egg experience? Because very recently that I have learned that these eggs have names now. And then I'm learning it on YouTube and I'm like, oh, this was what you were very upset with me about, because that day you looked at me like I fell out from the sky. Like, why in God's name are these eggs all mashed up together, like, and looking like in blocks? And you're like, what are the eggs flat?
Oh my
like
God.
Meshai, and I'm like,
I still remember.
You see how you remember the waiting, right? That's how I remember that one. And I know I never made eggs again.
Yeah.
You always made all the eggs, anyways. You made all the eggs because I just sucked at it and that was it.
Oh,
right? So,
no, eggs always made float in my house, omelette style, you get. So it was a thing of I wouldn't say pride, but something like, oh, I know how to make eggs.
I think these things kind of make, I think making egg can make or break people, period. Or having to wait for someone over and again can make or break people. I think 100%. And something else I remembered, I think, because I think between first and second year was like that melting pot where, for the second year, I know that you like to drink tea with Lipton. I don't know, there was this combination Lipton tea you used to drink then. And
yes,
I think I used to drink tea with Milo. No, I'm the person that doesn't drink Milo. I think
no, you drank chocolate. Yours was chocolate. It was chocolate. If you ever had to drink tea, you were not a tea person. I had to drink
Yes.
tea every morning.
Yes, I think that was it. And it just blew my
And
mind.
it had to be Lipton, nothing else.
Yes,
Yeah.
I usually was frustrated because even if we had to go to school and we're late, like you had to drink tea, and I'm like,
I have to drink tea.
like
And it has to be hot, so I have
frustrated
to be
about it.
sipping it, you know. I can't drink it cold. I can't gulp it down.
Yeah, so I think
I know, right?
so let's advance towards we kind of have touched about the possible things that could cause offenses, right?
Yeah.
Was there ever a time that like I offended you, right? And
Okay.
for real, you were offended where you can remember what it was?
It's difficult to think about that, to be very, very honest with you. I mean, I think for us, yeah, because I don't. I really. It's difficult to think about any offense, to be very honest with you. Maybe because we just knew the other person. I mean, and when I say just knew the other person, it's not necessarily like, oh, we became friends today and then we knew each other and you know, all that stuff. But I think we gave each other space to be, and we learned each other. Just like I mentioned waiting, you mentioned the tea part. I think for us it was just like that, like giving each other grace and realizing, oh, this is this person. And because we were in agreement on the most important things, the individual differences didn't feel like some could break the relationship. So I think, to be very honest, I can't think of any one time that I felt like, okay, you know, I was really, really upset and you know, maybe I had to hold a grudge or something. I'm sure there would have been one or two things, but we could talk to each other. We could absolutely talk to each other. So I think that made a difference. So even if there was an offense, it didn't fester to the point that, you know, I remember. Honestly, I can't remember. I'm not even not for video sake or anything. I can't remember, honestly. So like, of course, maybe the first time I had to wait for you, or after planning that we were going to be early, I might have been frustrated, like, why wouldn't she just be early, right? But over time realized, see, just chill. This is chick, so you've got to. And then just like you said, this is Oge, she has to drink her tea, and then she likes her egg, you know, in omelette style, you know. So I think that's what it was, giving time to understand the other person and realizing that these are just individual differences. I mean, we're different people, so I mean, this is who they are, and give grace for them. It makes all the difference. And then also being able to say, I didn't like what you said, or the way you said it, or what were you thinking about when you said this? I feel like maybe it came across this other way. And I feel like if you know your friend and know their heart, right? Even when they say things that, or do things that might offend you, it's less likely to offend you, because you know deep down they're not trying to, like, you know, be that person, or they're not trying to be evil or anything like that. Maybe in the moment they didn't think properly about it or whatever, but you can always talk about it and be like, okay, I don't like this one, or whatever, and then being able to say, okay, my friend is this way, let's see how to accommodate them, and, you know, without changing the core of what it is that you guys have together.
Right. I think that prayer that we prayed every week made a whole lot of difference, because even when we were like super burdened about many things,
Oh, it
like,
did.
you know, that prayer point, I think, was every Wednesday Wednesday evening at 6. We always prayed from like first year that
Yeah, it
we
was
used to go to
Wednesday.
Christ Church.
Yes.
Yeah, so we always prayed, and that helped to.
There were too many places.
Yes, exactly. When you go to church, you have opportunities to pray before God, table issues before God. Then when you come back, we always had that point where we always met with God, and it was kind of very, very clear. And then we just didn't feel like it was necessary. Even if I'm sure there are some things that we just didn't talk about, but we're like, okay, this is this person, and that's it, right?
Let's
And then we
just,
didn't.
yeah, yeah,
Let's just let it go. All right. Now, I know that I'm
yeah.
sure you've had friends like prior to meeting me, right? And you continue to have friends. But at what point in your life did you decide, okay, this girl is my friend, like for real? Or maybe like situations that
I
brought
think
it
it
up?
was
Because I have one or two.
yeah. Well. I think it was organic, but I can name, because we've gone through med school, we've gone through being outside the country, we've gone through marriage, we've gone through children, we've navigated so many seasons that is like, you can just there are so many things to think about and be like, okay, at this point this person came through for me.
Okay.
There's so many really.
Yeah.
Okay, it's back.
Well,
So when I was preparing for my wedding, when I was preparing for my wedding, I was also preparing for my primaries, and the venue had to be of looking for a venue, and you were like, don't worry about venue, just go sort the venue matter. And I would always come to say, I'm being in that library, and you'd be like, okay, there's one of two places that I've seen, come, let's go check it out, and all the things. Like, see, that's I don't like, that's like one. Then I remember when I was after I'd gotten married, and it was that trying to get a visa to come to the US, and I'd always call you and be like, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, and all the things. And you carry this on your head. You see, babe, you will do this. Babe, you will go there. You will you've always been in my corner, honestly. I can't name, like, they're honestly, we've navigated so many seasons in life, and so, but in every turn you just realize this person is your person. Like, they're praying for you, they're encouraging you, they're not trying to tear you down. Even if there was a decision that you weren't completely okay with, you would try to find out why I was deciding this way, and be like, okay, well, I'm praying, but ultimately, you're gonna have to decide and work with God on the matter. But even in that, I could see that you were seeking the best for me, and there are just so many seasons like that. And I feel like it was organic over time. You just realize that you and this person flow really well. There's just, and then opportunity comes up for the friendship to be tested, and the person is like there for you, and you just can't deny it. So I personally don't feel like I had a moment where I was like, oh yeah, this person is my person. But just going through it in hindsight is 2020, but looking back, I can pick this place and that point, and at this place, and it's like, yeah. So that's my own point, my own experience. I mean, it might be difficult for somebody, from other people, because probably they'd have, depending on how the relationship or the friendship started, it might have been just before a very major life situation, and the person is there for you, and you know that you can really count on the person, and you're like, yeah, because there's nothing that tests a friendship like hard times. So
I agree. I think like you're very correct. We grew organically, but like for me, I know that there are many things that I don't really I have a very decent expectation about people and friends in general. But I know that when I was doing house job, both of us, and you were going to be married, I knew that you came to where I was doing house job. Like you came all the way from Nasarawa, and then you came to my house in Kubwa then, and you
Wow.
were like,
Yes, I remember
I
that.
don't know, like I don't know why. It's not like I don't know why. So I don't know why you felt the need to travel all the way
To come.
to come and tell me
I mean,
that you were getting married. You know what I mean? So for me, no, I'm serious. In that moment, in that day, I was like, because you came to visit me, and I was like, okay. And you were like, oh, there's something I have to tell you, and I'm like, oh,
I don't know. If not that you're saying it now, I don't even remember that
and
that
I'm
was what I
like,
told you.
huh. So you actually took it upon yourself, right, to
Travel.
come all the way, like you did, because you could have called me on the phone. We speak all the time on the phone, right? You could have just called me on the phone and be like, hey, babe, this and that's going to happen. But you came all the way and you told me that. And now, that day when you left, I'm like, man,
Like,
like,
I mean, see, first of all, like how this is something other people should know too. I feel like my person, I think looking back, I feel like I'm one of those persons who, if I think that there's something here, until something falls apart, I'm gonna be there. Do you understand?
right.
So it's like, who else wanted the wedding? Do you understand? Like, she's got to be there. Like,
yeah.
So
I agree.
I didn't think
Totally
at the
agree.
time it was a decision of like, oh, you have to. No, I honestly, I don't think it was that. It's like, okay, I'm going to be in Abuja, and then she's doing house job. Let's go see her and stuff like that. And of course,
Yeah.
But
Those were like some of the like places where I was like, okay, like this is concrete, at least in terms of I'm the only girl, right? So some things don't just fluid well with me. I have like, okay, this makes a lot of sense, and I think that wedding was like, I think almost everybody who was at that wedding or
that wedding was yours. That wedding was yours, honestly.
Yes, it was my wedding. It was mine.
It's a God honest truth. It's a God honest truth. Like, babe, are you going to do a? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, don't worry, I'm going to take care of that. Like, no, it was honestly.
It was,
to be very honest, I don't know how I would have done it without. I don't know if I told you, but I'm sure I told you, Sha. But seriously, you were you took that wedding. Yes, you did.
Yeah. So I think, and then another thing that happened, which was my husband is the one that always says that, like that, because when my husband started talking to me initially, he was like, he felt like
don't see don't get me no, like it's like, what, you who don't come there quicker, no way, no how. And then he was like, I think the Lord is like, you know what? Okay, see, people, I know, I know I'm saying too many things.
That he had to buy a lamb of sacrifice for you. That was like, after parental consent, the next parental consent to get. I was like, hey.
And the funny thing is, I knew him, right? So it's not like I didn't know him and he had to like specially come to get my interest. Like, I knew him. I was like, no way, you're not coming near my person. Because honestly, if you've ever seen a chick fending for her babies, honestly, that's how I felt. It was like swords drawn, everything. Like, if you come near her, if you try her, I'm like, do not try it. But then, of course, I was looking at the person, and then, this one, he's like, see, God is in this matter. And I said, see what? My hands are up. I'm not about to stand in the way of what God is doing, And I'm so glad, that it's worked out so beautifully to what it is right now. But honestly, it's like, no, don't come near her. It was like I've never felt as protective. I've never felt as protective of anyone as I felt in that moment. I am not even gonna lie, honestly. But yeah, because usually I'm this kind of person, like, it's not my business. You know, it's not my business. Like everybody's gonna make their decision and all this stuff. But yeah. But then I felt like marriage was one of those places where, no, man, you have to, and of course, growing up and just seeing things and all the things, I'm like, no, this is one place you don't want to make any mistake, as much as like humanly possible as you can get. Don't, you know. So that was where all of that was coming from. Like, see, you better mean well for my friend or else. So yeah.
Yes, we'll cut your head off. I think
he knew.
I think yeah, he knew. I think he knew. He knew. Did you find it a little bit coincidental that we both married men answering the same name?
Babe, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happened.
We're both married to Victor, right?
No idea.
I
have no idea how that happened. Like, I have no idea how that happened. Well, I never thought about it until, after the fact. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. That's so true. But I some things just mirror around. I decided to have this conversation because I've seen a lot of people have issues with their friends. I mean, that's normal, especially female friendships. Like, it's so difficult to maintain some of these friendships across. And most people, especially when it comes to like correction, like telling someone, this thing you're doing just makes no sense, or I know both of us have had this conversation over multiple times about different issues, and then we're talking about talking to someone or talking about a scenario where someone is like, don't talk to me, like, I don't want to hear you, right? Those type of friendships can't last the test of time. And over time, so I've seen also some people who have friends who have stayed 2 years, right? They kind of have the same denominator and everything. There's something that I remember that happened that I know that you was it when we're looking for a house job, we were both looking for employment, right? And I think you got one job like that. I can't remember. I think so. I think you remember you got.
Yeah.
Did you get that? It was Nasarawa job before me.
UNTH.
Yes, you got that UNTH job.
No,
I think
I got UNTH before. Before they now cut. I think it was when we were doing. No, it was UNTH. It was UNTH. They had given the first. I think it was the first 90. The first 90. Then they now cut it to the first 30 or something like that, and then I was out. Yeah. It was the UNTH one. So
I remember that when that job thing came out, because all of us saw it, right? So we spoke. I think I texted you like congratulations, but I think you called me after a few days to like, I don't know what it was to ascertain, but your words came out like this, like, how do you feel about the fact that I got this UNTH job and you didn't?
Yeah.
Did you remember that? I don't know if you remember that conversation.
I remember it.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure that I was upset or anything. I was happy for you, but I was just I don't know, the fact that you called and thought.
No, here's what I was reasoning. Here's what I was reasoning is like we both went to medical school together. We've been at home searching for and all the things, right? And then I've gotten it. Like, how you feeling? Because I felt like this weight would just be hard, right? Like, how's she doing? Not because I felt like you would be jealous or anything like that, but like, what's the weight of this on you having to wait? Like, I'm in and you're not yet there. Like, so it was purely a concern for like, I hope I hope this is not making you feel any. It's okay. I recently wrote an exam that, this lady was way more prepared for, given everything. And she wrote 4 days before me, and her 4 days before me. So her result came out before mine. I didn't know how to ask her how her result was. Then she calls me to ask me how my result was, assuming that mine was out. And I was like, mine isn't out yet. So I said, I haven't been able to ask you because, and she said, oh, she didn't make it. And I'm like, oh my God, I was feeling so discouraged, because if anybody's going to pass, she would pass, right? And she
Right.
turns around, she's like, don't worry about it. Don't look at me as a yardstick. Don't, like, she just flat out went on into encouragement mode. Like, and she was just encouraging me. And she was there from the very beginning when I started, like when I was still stuttering because it's a talking exam and just all the things. So she just went out flat out encouraging me. Don't let my result, make you feel discouraged or lose heart or lose faith in God or just all the things. So I think that heart she had was actually where I was coming from to ask you, like, how you feeling about this. I didn't think you were going to be like maybe jealous, or it's just like, I know waiting is hard, and then so, like, how you doing?
Yeah. I think that particular call sets the tone for me for these other years that have come out, because I think that was 2014 and this is 2024. This is 10 years.
Yeah.
That call set the tone on what this. I wasn't feeling bad, but I was just feeling down with the whole having to like chase the job market,
Exactly.
because I was like, both of us are not chasers of things naturally. So
we honestly are not. Like,
yes.
Every
So
time I have to chase
that
anything, I feel drained. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was a problem. So we just couldn't. I just couldn't understand. I was like, okay, doesn't have to chase this thing. Like, this is not my natural forte, father. Like, I cannot,
I can't.
But then eventually we all got to learn.
We
all got to learn that chasing of things in life is a must, right? And
we have to, man.
No matter what you do, you have to chase stuff. But that call sets it sets the tone for me to say, like, this, we have passed the medical school phase where we're always together, we always got things done, we wrote exams and passed exams and moved on to levels, right? But it set the tone for me that going forward from that 2014, life was never going to be even for us, right?
Yeah.
We were going to focus on our individual paths, but we're going to remain friends,
Yeah.
Well, somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew you were going to be married before me, so that was kind of a given. So, but I knew, well, I knew that we're going to foster different pathways, but I was determined. I was like, you know what, we're going to continue to be friends. I would always text you, like, the first time anything comes up, I'll always like reach out to you, even when we're far, countries apart, states and time zones apart. I'll always let you know what's going on. I just want to know if you
American English is pidgin, like.
Of course. Yeah, we always have to come down.
Yeah. Of course. Come on now.
There's something that I know that we always did, always encouraging each other in the right way, especially in the things of God. And building this friendship over time has made us, like, if there's something, I can really explain something to you and you can get it without, like, flapping on the edges,
having to go round and round and like, where is she coming from, like, what's the mindset behind this, like, just all the things.
Now, one question for you.
I think what most people who have just grown together.
Yeah, I agree. Question for you. Do you think that we would have our friendship would have or friendships get separated when girls get married? Or do you think that like men come in between friends all the time? Or how do you think we navigated it? I think we navigated it organically, but what are your thoughts?
Okay. I think what's the word now? Individual peculiarities will determine how the friendship will go after marriage. If one person, if any other person, if any of the parties in the friendship feels like, if there's any form of competition, let me start from there, between the two parties, then it's not going to survive, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, she's married now, so, and then the married person is like, I'm married now, so I don't have time for single girls. I've actually heard people say stuff like that, and which is simply crazy. It just doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
If anything, you would be praying for your friend. You would be looking out for, if you're in that kind of, that kind of space, you'll be looking out for potential, dates or partners for your friend. You would be praying with them, encouraging them, and just things, right? Which means from the get-go that our friendship was never meant to last. But I think that understanding that being married doesn't stop you from being who you are, and that this person knows you. Do you understand? And that being married doesn't stop you from having female friends, girlfriends. And who better than the person you had been friends with, build up to, even when you got married. In all honesty, those friendships are even going to help you while you're navigating marriage. Of course, there are some things that you might not be able to talk with your unmarried friend, like discuss with your unmarried friend, simply because some things can only be understood from a place of experience, not because you don't want to share with that person, but also I think it's fundamentally just understanding that being married doesn't stop you from being you, doesn't stop you from having friends, doesn't stop you from having female friends, and understanding what that friendship, the role that our friendship played in your life build up to you getting married. If you understand that, then you're not going to cut off from your friend or start acting any kind of way. But also, I think the spouses we get married to, there's something my husband used to say. There was maybe he's just we're just having conversation, and somebody comes up and he's like, "Thank God you don't have this kind of friends, or else I'd have probably said something about that." There are some kind of friendships that the spouse is like, I don't want this kind of attitude in my life, and if that's the attitude that this person is bringing, then do something about that. But when your spouse knows that, yes, if your spouse knows that this friendship is solid, this friendship is going to make my life only better, then they're not going to try to come in between.
What would be your final words for like people who are navigating difficult friendships, especially as Christians?
Okay, I'd say there one thing that we have to understand is that God is intentional about every single detail of our lives. I mean, every single detail, down to friendships. So it is absolutely not out of place to pray about your friendships, whether you are in one, you're about to get into one, seeking to get into one, and of course we should be seeking to get into, because we're not meant to do this life alone. So there's nothing too big, there's nothing too small to pray about. And so that would be something that I feel like would be foundational. Then the second thing is be friendly. I mean, even the Bible says so. You can't, having prayed for or whatever, And then somebody comes into your life and you are just stuck up in your ways, like, I'm not bending, I'm not giving room for this is who I am, blah blah blah. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Like you said, you walked up to be like, okay, is she going to be open, is she going to, so be friendly. If
Mm-hmm.
you're maybe in that season where you're navigating, trying to get into, maybe you just moving to a new city or whatever, and you're trying to get friends because you definitely need them. Be friendly, be open. um, um, we have the Spirit of God in us, so we should be able to be like, I feel like we are on the same path. We might be at different stages or levels, but I mean, the goal is the same. So be friendly, but also have the spirit of discernment, so that you don't go too deep with somebody who you're absolutely disaligned with, and it's like it's just constant struggle and rubbing of each other the wrong way. Then and still in the vein, in that, with that thought of being friendly, a friend is a friend. We still get closer than a brother sometimes. So be open. There are areas that you're struggling with, talk to
Mm-hmm.
this person about. I mean, of course, after you've gained their, like, after you've understood that you can actually trust them with these things.
Right.
Um, yeah. So yeah, be able to let them know that, you know, you've got them and they've got you.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
if you're not invested in it, should I be invested in it? Let them know
Right.
that you're there for them, and and allow them to be there for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some other people are just so closed up, maybe because of past experiences, that they cannot open up to anybody. And then even when they're struggling, the friend is like, how can I help? Where do I come in? What do you need help with? I'm like, no, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. At some point you'd be like, you know what, even if you're drowning, I'm not about to come and drown with you because you obviously don't want my help. So be
Right.
open, be friendly, let them in, and be there for them, when they need it as well.
Mm.
Little things, big things. Yeah. So that would be what I say. And then, of course, like with every other relationship, something comes up that you're not okay with, please talk about it, because there's just no point keeping it. It's gonna just fester and fester and fester, and next thing you're like, oh, we grew apart. No, you didn't grow apart. Offenses just built up and they weren't dealt with, and
Mm.
so
Right.
yeah, I think these are some of the things I would say
Okay.
to that person.
Right. All right. So there you have it. So we're going to wrap up at this point because all them babies are calling, and we need to go back to our respective lives and fix all the issues we have. And I really appreciate you, Uge, for coming up on this conversation. I know that it has been a big sacrifice for you. And again, these are one of those moments where you're my friend, right? I'm not sure I had to coerce you more than once. I just told you once, and you were
No,
like,
no,
sure, sure. And we fixed the date, fixed the
no.
time. Life got in the way. We still rescheduled and everything, and it's happening. And I really, really appreciate this opportunity. So if you're out there and you're having challenges,
Pleasure.
you can have great friends, and God will always continue to be our strength and our reward. So let me say a word of prayer for friends out there who are looking and praying to God to navigate these phases of their lives.
Oh, well, thanks. Um, that's an honor. Father, we thank you for today. We give you all the glory because you are good and you're kind and you're intentional about us. It's amazing how we see all that you weaved through lives, through the different people, different characters in the Bible, all pointing to Jesus Christ. Just the intentionality, the tiny details, everything. You are that God, and that's how you are about our lives. So, Lord, I pray for that person who's watching this and saying, Lord, I just moved to this new city. I'm lonely, or I'm alone. I don't know how to do this. Or maybe they're in friendships and, situations have come up that they haven't dealt with properly. Lord, I pray and I ask that you will visit them, encourage them, those that have been hurt, those that have been deeply pained by the people they trusted, and they had friends, and now they feel like, no, I'm not opening up to anybody, I'm not doing any of that. Lord, help them to realize that you didn't create us to do this life solo. And I pray that you send them that person, that group that helps them to go through life, that reminds them of your promises and of your words over their lives. I pray, oh God of heaven, that you send them help, send them encouragement, and show them that you are there for them through the friends that you're going to send to them. Thank you, faithful Father, because I know that you're going to do this. And maybe there's that person who is just stuck in their ways, and that's why they haven't gotten the friends that they need. Lord, I pray that you open their eyes and their hearts to see the places that they need to make adjustments, to make room for others, so that they can do life together to the glory of your name. Thank you, faithful God, because we know you've heard and you've answered us. In Jesus' name we have prayed.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
Amen.
Thank you, girl. I really, really appreciate this time. And I hope you have a wonderful
my pleasure.
rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And to the rest of us, it's bye from me now, and I'll see you in my next video.